Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good week. As indicated on the class webpage, I am going to now provide you with a little bit of guidance in the completion of this form that you were given in class that brings together mindfulness and ethics. I wanted to share with you that this is a form that was originally developed for the mindful ethics class, but I think it's very, very helpful and relevant when in our class, Mindfulness and Law, we are exploring mindfulness and ethics as we've begun to do and as last week's reading of Professor Riskin's article moves us more formally in that direction. Um, Importantly, the form is relatively self-explanatory, but the second portion really asks for you to give thought to um, and and put forth something with a degree of specificity that I'd like to reinforce here, because this is what will make this a more meaningful exercise. So the first part asks you to reflect on what you may be aware of already with the rules of professional responsibility and the ways in which we aspire and in some ways are regulated to conduct ourselves in regards to opposing counsel, in regards to the tribunal or the court, in regards to the public, etc. And so it asks you 5 questions. The questions are framed: when interacting with opposing counsel, I aspire to be blank. And it asks you this for interacting with clients, the court, colleagues, and the public. And what you're to do here is you're to think about, for each of those groups, situations where you may find yourself to be especially challenged. For example, opposing counsel is lying to the court. Opposing counsel is misrepresenting the truth. Opposing counsel is flooding you with documents, whatever it may be. And where it is that you might find yourself possibly being taxed or struggling a little bit to really hold yourself up to the ways in which you wish to conduct yourselves. Maybe it would be with candor, maybe it would be with professionalism, whatever that may be. And to then write down in one word that quality that you aspire to maintain in that situation with that particular person or type of person. You do this for each of the 5, and in doing so, you identify 5 different aspirations. So it doesn't mean that if candor or being truthful is something that you come up with for opposing counsel, it couldn't be very relevant to the court as well, but you're being asked to come up with 5 different aspirations for how you would conduct yourself. That's the first part. The second part is very similar, but it moves to a higher degree of specificity in terms of what you write down. And it also asks you to, or invites you to look to interactions and engagements you have today with people in your life, whether they're friends, family, colleagues, the public for that matter. And so here you're asked to look at each of the 5 aspirations that you came up with. For example, let's say truthful is one of them. And think about a situation today where being truthful is something that you could see yourself at times fudging on. Now, I'm not expecting that there's these wide, digressions or transgressions, but rather I'm interested in the very subtle ones that are easily overlooked, that we get a pass on, that we're more cavalier in offering. It might be, for example, your roommate says, don't forget to take out the garbage. You say, okay, I'll make sure I take out the garbage. You forget to take out the garbage. They text you and say, did you take out the garbage? And you're like, you know what, I'll get home before them and I'll make sure I throw it away. And you say, yes. Now that would be an example of what I'm speaking to. Now, the idea here, though, is to try to identify 5 different situations that are not uncommon, so that it's actually the case that you're likely to run into that situation in the next week or 2. So if you're so specific, like the example I just gave, that happened once and will never happen again, then that probably isn't a helpful one to write down. But if you know that with your roommate, there's times when you may fudge a little bit just to keep them, at bay, or, not to make things difficult for you, then you can maybe elaborate or express that statement and aspiration in a way that is likely to arise, but isn't so vague that you don't notice it when it does. So do that for each of the 5 aspirations of how you would conduct yourself that you identify in the first part in the second part. And here you don't have to come up with 5 different people, but it would be nice to have several different people You could have it where the same person that you maybe interact with a lot covers two of the different aspirations. Uh, all right, I hope this is helpful. Bring this to class with you on Friday, and I look forward to seeing you then. If you have any questions about this, feel free to email me and Deb, and we'll get back to you. But please do not wait until Friday so that you come to class and you're scrambling to fill this out. This does require thought given to the 5 initial aspirations based on those different groups and the challenges you can imagine, perhaps being a little bit unique to that group, and then to think with and articulate with specificity the present day application. I wish you all the best and hope you're having and continue to have a good week.